Hi everybody, this is Boogass Reviews, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the brand new NECA Texas Chainsaw Massacre 50th Anniversary Retro Clothed the Hitchhiker figure. So before we take a look at the Hitchhiker, let's go ahead and take a look at all of the accessories that he comes with. So first up, he comes with his rabbit skin pouch that he wears around his neck. And this is sculpted really well. The fur is sculpted really nicely, and you get a really cool black wash over it, though you can see some spots where the black wash missed. Still looks really good though, and it stays on him very well. So you just slip it over top of his head, and then underneath his hair there, and that stays around his neck really nicely. It just lays on the figure really well. Up next, he comes with the camera. And this is sculpted and painted very well. I feel like this looks pretty realistic for such a tiny accessory. It just looks really nice. It's surprisingly detailed with the paint, like it has a black wash to the strap here, and silver for the buckles right there. That looks really good. I will say the strap does kind of annoy me. The way it's packaged, it's kind of in a weird position, but once you put it over his neck here, it does stay really well. You can't really get him holding it because of the way his hands are sculpted, but I still think that looks pretty cool and it's a pretty fun accessory. Up next, he comes with the pocket knife that he cuts himself with. You can see it has a little bit of blood on the end there, and for being such a tiny accessory, he can actually hold it really well. You do have to kind of fiddle with it to get it in his hands just right, but once you do, it's a pretty secure fit. So yeah, I'm really happy about that. When I saw this tiny accessory, I thought there's no way he'll actually be able to hold this convincingly, but he actually does, so I'm pretty happy with that. And finally, he comes with the straight razor, and he can also hold this very well too. I definitely wish there would have been a little bit of blood paint to it, but that's a small gripe. My biggest complaint with this is that it just wants to close constantly. I do think it's cool that you can actually open and close it, but mine just wants to fall down constantly. I'm not quite sure how I can fix that. So yeah, that's honestly my biggest complaint with this figure. It's a cool accessory, but it just wants to go closed constantly. So now, let's go ahead and take a look at his head sculpt. So taking a look at this head sculpt, I think NECA did a phenomenal job at sculpting and painting this. I believe this is the exact same head sculpt as the original release. This time it just has updated paint detailing with the print tech there, which I honestly think the original really looked like him. But with the face print tech, this just really looks like Edwin Neal. I feel like it's a spitting image of him. It's just a very good likeness. They nailed the expression on his face, the little details like the mustache right there, and the birthmark. That is just a fantastic looking head sculpt. It really looks like him. The sculpt of the hair looks really nice. I feel like they could have put a little bit of variation over top of that, but it's still a very, very awesome head sculpt, and I think it looks just like him. Since this is a retro figure, you get some nice tailored clothing for him. I think the shirt looks really nice. It's made out of a nice material. It does kind of want to move up whenever you're posing the figure around, so you will have to pull it down a little bit. But I think the shirt looks really nice, and so does the pants. You actually get some paint over top of the pants. It's kind of like an airbrushed effect. But I love how they put that on there. You know, you really can't do much with the shirt here, but I'm glad they gave some variation over top of these. And you also have it on the back as well. I think that looks really, really nice. Another thing that really surprised me is he actually has a black wash over top of his skin. It kind of makes him look dirty, and I think that really fits with the character. I was really surprised that they actually had some paint variation over top of his skin. You also get that same paint variation over top of his hands. Now with some retros, I feel like the sculpt doesn't flow. Like the hands and the arms usually look different. I feel like the skin tones are slightly different shades. But I think because they did the black wash, it actually blends a little bit better than on other figures. I think it was the Reanimator figure I got recently. He has these ultra detailed hands, and then these completely smooth forearms, so it looks really funny. But I feel like this actually looks pretty natural, and you really don't notice the difference in skin tone unless you're like really, really looking at it. So I think they did a really good job of matching that up there. They painted the blood on his hand from where he cuts himself really nicely. That's done in a glossy red color, and I think it really does look like the way it runs down his arm in the film. NECA did a really good job at painting that. That looks pretty awesome. You also get his bracelet right here. I do wish it was a little bit of a tighter fit, but his bracelet of animal bones looks really nice. It's got a black wash over top of it as well to bring out the detailing. And even the boots are detailed really nicely. I think they're cast in black and have brown paint over top of them. You can actually see they sculpted the stitch work on there. That's pretty impressive. Would have been cool if they would have actually sculpted more up here. That way you could put the straight razor down in his boot like in the film. But no, it just stops right here, which really doesn't bother me because I think that's hidden pretty well by the pants right there. And if you look at the bottom here, you can see that this actually says, what's that say, 2018, I think? Yeah, so this is the same exact sculpt. They didn't even bother to update the feet here or update the year on this. So now, let's go ahead and go over his articulation. So he has a ball-jointed head that can actually look up all the way. Sometimes these retros can't do that, so I'm pleasantly surprised with that. Now, he can't look down at all. I am a bit disappointed by that. He can move his head side to side very nicely. He has shoulders that can move all the way out, swivel at the bicep that can move side to side. The joint is a bit tight, but it moves. He has single jointed elbows that can actually bend in a decent amount. He has wrist swivels that move up and down very nicely, and all the way around. He has a waist swivel that moves side to side very slightly. Okay, you can actually move it more. I guess I just hadn't moved that joint and it was still kind of stuck. He has ball jointed hips that can only move out that far. You don't want to split the seam right there. He can actually kick forward a decent amount, back a little bit. He has a swivel at the thigh here, single jointed knee that can't move that much, and he has ankles that can move down just a little bit and up just a little bit. For the only size comparison, here he is next to the Pretty Woman Leatherface. Now I have 2 out of 3 of this wave. The final figure in this anniversary retro line is Chop Top, and I'm looking forward to getting him at some point soon. So overall, I would highly recommend picking this one up because I think NECA did a phenomenal job on this. I have wanted the Hitchhiker forever. I don't know, I think that was when I was just first getting into NECA when the original one was released. So I missed out on that, and now it is very expensive. So I'm really happy that NECA re-released this. As I said, I think the original one actually looked pretty decent for the time. But now that they're using print tech, it just really looks like Edwin Neal. I think it looks just like him as the Hitchhiker. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. I think NECA did a really good job on this, and this is probably one of my favorite NECA figures from this year. It is just very well done, and I just really love it. So, that's my review. If you like this review, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.